Scaring someone can be pretty tough sometimes, especially when you're doing it in a medium where they have some control over what's happening. Sometimes you'll succeed in making them quiver and bite their nails down to a pulp, but other times you'll just end up falling flat on your face, or should I say, running face first into a bunch of fucking dressers like a little baby doll. There's so many great horror games these days. Opening Steam and sorting it by horror will be like that one moment from A Clockwork Orange where you're just fucking overwhelmed with shit. Obviously in that wave of hundreds and thousands of games, there's definitely gonna be some stinkers. And that's exactly what this video is about. Today I want to focus on less beloved and kind of underrated horror games that I really like that some of you might not. Halloween is here, so yeah, I got a cup prepared. Put my glove on backward. Welcome to episode 6 of Guilty Pleasures. We're down to the last 5 now, which is pretty crazy to say after I've been doing this for already 3 years now. But without any further ado, let's talk about some freaking cruddy ass horror games already. Just kidding, I like them, I like them. I know, this one's a little embarrassing, but that's kind of the point, right? Emily Wants to Play, wait, sorry, what? Emily Wants to Play 2? Oh, come on. These games came out at the height of the Mascot horror era, and they're filled with basically nothing but jump scares at points. But don't worry, this isn't another one of those jump scares are the root of all evil and they ruin horror videos, because come on guys. I think people need to realize that it's overusage of jump scares that kind of ruin them, not jump scares themselves. Because over the years I have seen some banging ass jump scares. You're not gonna tell me that that scene from Barbarian isn't fucking effective. For as dumb as this game is anyway, I cannot deny the absolute bellowing scream I let out on the first jump scare in this game. Let me give you some context. I basically skipped all of the instructions, very little instructions there were at the beginning of this game when you're in the house, and when all the lights went out and I heard that clown music, I just froze in place in fear, and then oh my fucking god! That's actually not a clip from Emily Wants to Play, that's a clip of me and my friend playing Nun Massacre, which the video will be out this week on Auburn Rats, by the way, shameless, super shameful plug. And this was probably the first horror game besides Outlast to genuinely scare me at points, so that has to count for something, right? And it's not even just the jump scares that make this game effective either. I think its best moments come from different types of horror completely, where it's more the suspense of the moment that scares you rather than getting caught and getting jump scared. For example, later in the game there's a part where you're in this pitch black storage room with this really tall and like nasty looking mannequin. He kind of looks like the dudes from Condemned. All you can hear is the creaking sounds getting closer and closer as this dude just hunts you down. It's really effective. Because I wasn't just scared of getting jump scared and having to restart the night or whatever. I was genuinely afraid of this dude himself. And there's another scene in the game I feel like is great that works for opposite reasons kind of. Because it's less of a slow tension build and more of a holy fucking shit adrenaline rush. At one point this tiny doll guy will get released into the map and his segment's pretty simple. Literally all you can do here is run. There's no loud music, just the pitter-patter of his little feet, dude, but trust me, that's enough to scare you. Alright man, knock it off now, please. Please, come on, fucking stop!
My dear Mr. Mandus, I admire your vision, I truly do. But there are surely not enough pigs in the whole of London to feed the appetite of such a machine.
That all rather depends, Professor, on what one considers to be a pig.
Amnesia is often considered to be a horror masterpiece, and 14 years after its release, it's still considered to be one of the best horror games out there. And honestly, rightfully so. They took really simple gameplay mechanics and made one of the most effectively scary things to this day. This game somehow made you scared of nothing. There was nothing in that water, man, and you know it. But what about its sequel? No, not that one that everyone thinks is a masterpiece as well, because it is. No, not that one that I don't hear anybody talk about ever. No, that one. Yeah, the one that everyone seems to hate for some reason. I don't get it. What is the beef with this game? Sure, it's not as good as the original, but I've never understood the genuine hatred some people seem to have for this game. I personally like it a lot. I think it has a lot of nice aesthetics. I think the story is kind of interesting. It wasn't much, but I felt somewhat more of a connection to this main protagonist than I did from the first game, but clearly not that much considering I don't remember either of their names. And fuck it, I'll say it, I like the big pig guys. I think they're really cool. They don't really scare me too bad or anything. They're definitely not as freaky as the dudes from the first game. I am a sucker for crazy ass monster designs. They don't even have to be super scary or anything. As long as they're unique and interesting, and these pigs definitely are, they fill my fucking needs 100%. And I really like this game's opening for some reason. It's kind of slow as you're just kind of stalking around this massive mansion, but the openness of it and the fucking sounds you're hearing and the little kids you see run by, it just works for some reason in my opinion. It really builds tension until the game really kicks off, because when you go into like the underground cellar or whatever, you know, and it doesn't take long to just fucking go crazy from there. I am here to say fuck it. Amnesia Machine for Pigs, it's actually pretty good. And honestly, I think people would have liked it a lot more if it just wasn't an Amnesia game at all. Take Soma for example. It's made by the same people, but it takes on its own identity while using a lot of the same ideas from Amnesia, so it was received a lot better upon release. And then maybe people would look back on it more fondly rather than just looking back on it as the weakest of the 4 Amnesia games. But screw hiding away. You want a game where you can whack that fucking scary thing in the face with a pipe? Well, God, I got the game for you. Take it from Kick-Ass. I love cracking craniums, and this game is the game to do it in. Condemned Criminal Origins and its stupidly long name is a classic. What the fuck was that? Was that a jockey from Leopard? This wonky, janky horror game is beloved by many, and rightfully so. It's simple but surprisingly fun, and genuinely suspenseful when it needs to be. What about Condemned 2 though? Just saying. Condemned 2 is a sequel that I never gave a full chance to because everybody said it was bad for some reason. Oh dude, you like Outlast? You gotta play Condemned. Just don't play the fucking stupid ass sequel. So I kind of let that mess with my perception a bit when I first played it for the first time like 4 years ago, and I never actually finished the game. But after going back and finishing it recently, this shit kinda fucking rocks. Same thing with Machine for Pigs. It's obviously not as good as its predecessor, but I would not go nearly as far as to say this is bad in any way. Condemned 1 didn't have a great plot or anything, but Condemned 2 is noticeably worse. I'm really sad that guy took my gun. This shit just didn't make sense. It wasn't that interesting. It brought a bunch of elements in that I consider lazy. I don't want to spoil too much, I guess, but then again, I don't really remember what happens. So the character of Tom was kind of boring in the first one, but here he's just fucking miserable. They gave him that same archetype that they give to every type of character like this when they don't know what to do with them, where they just make him extremely depressed and a super crazy alcoholic with greasy hair. And I get it, dude, Max Payne 3 was really good, but I am so fucking sick of seeing this. I am joking. I know that this game came out before Max Payne 3. The big change here that I feel like does kind of work in a way is the gameplay. One of the main appealing factors of Condemned 1 was the simplicity of it. You could only carry one weapon at a time, there was one simple attack you could do, and you could kind of parry. I wouldn't really call this a block. And when in doubt, just haze the fuck out of everything. But Condemned 2 wanted to make it a little more intricate. They added the ability to do hand-to-hand combat for some reason, which I never felt that useful when I did it, and it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to do, so why is it even here? They also changed up the way that some of your finishers worked. The first game you would just be displayed like 3 things, like would you rather snap this guy's fucking neck, headbutt this dude in the face, or just grab the motherfucker and... But here they made it kind of more of a QTE based thing where you have to hit the buttons in the right order to do the finisher. and I'm not really as big on that. Call me lazy, you'd be right. I just really like to do a finisher and sit back and relax and watch some cool animation happen sometimes, you know. I'm a simple guy, alright? I just want to see something cool. Okay guys, it's here to tell you, let's take a break from the sequels and talk about a horror game that I'm convinced I'm the only motherfucker to ever have played. 2 years ago, a horror game by the name of Oxide Room 104, yes, that's actually its real name, came out. I kind of enjoyed the shit out of it because the ideas that were here were really good. If they had just been executed a little bit better, this game could have been pretty great, I think. And you guys know I love indie games that kind of miss the mark with their great ideas almost as much as I love the ones that hit it. Because even if the game isn't that good, it's still at least really interesting to think about what could have been. What I mean by that is every single time you die in this game, you'll be punished for it. You won't just like start all over at the beginning. You will be taken out of this weird matrix that you're in, put into the real world, and then this weird, scary, bald motherfucker will chop one of your limbs off. I'm not joking, it happens every time. And when you run out of limbs, game over, man. The actual game itself is pretty disappointing because it's basically just another Silent Hill clone, which we've seen with every fucking indie horror game at this point. Where you're stuck in a motel and you see a bunch of creepy shit, like this weird, whiny, annoying baby in the thing. Hey, fetus from PT, I think I found your freaking brother over here. He's even more of a dweeb than you. There is a sequel though coming out next year, so if that's any better, then we might actually have something really good on our hands here. I know, not much of a guilty pleasure, but I just haven't really had another good chance to talk about these games right here. And to be fair, the ones that I'm going to be talking about, Silent Hill 4 and Shattered Memories, didn't have the best reputations when they first came out. For example, let's start with Silent Hill 4. This game was considered by some people to be the fucking death of the franchise when it came out. I'm not even joking. It wanted to do something a little different than we had grown used to with the trilogy. It takes us out of the freaky but familiar setting of Silent Hill and puts us in this place called Ashfield, which has the most prison-like looking apartment complexes I have ever seen. The protagonist, Henry, is sent across a psychological fuckfest of a journey through these everlasting and almost painting-like looking environments. No, dude, it's not the freaky back rooms. It just really looks like the back rooms.
3 weeks later.
It's not the back rooms. It's different. It's fucking different. But not only does this game have some of the creepiest settings in the entire franchise, it has some of the scariest villains I've seen in any horror game. Look at that. Look at, I'm getting chills just thinking about the fact that it's gonna be edited in behind me. It's not there. Ugh, dude. Seriously. This is ironically one of the first horror games I ever played besides Resident Evil 4. And while that game scared me, this game probably traumatized me, honestly. Thanks a lot, asshole. Fuck you, dude. This is when the video gets serious. The mask is... fuck. Jesus. The mask is coming off. Ah, yeah. Let's enjoy the nature. Something you motherfuckers probably gotta do more. I wanted to come out here for the end of the video since things are a little more serious, I guess. Getting a little more personal. Dude, bro's really getting personal on the man, you want pussy? I don't really do that very often in my videos, but I've always respected people's ability to like connect their YouTube little essays to like real life shit that happened to them and stuff, so I'll do that too. I first fell in love with Silent Hill Shattered Memories via a Let's Play, which I know is like the video game equivalent of having a baby out of wedlock, but I was born out of wedlock too, so fuck you. I actually found it via a Game Grumps Let's Play because I had just really gotten into them. I was like 13 years old and I really liked their Dead Rising playthrough and was like, oh fuck it, I'll watch this one as well to distract myself from my life. Because maybe like less than a month before I ever watched this series, I had lost a very close friend of mine due to an asthma attack. We were both 13 years old and we used to spend a lot of time talking about shit we wanted to do when we grew up and stuff. I used to talk about how I've always kind of wanted to try YouTube as a hobby, but I never really did. But yeah, grief is never easy for anybody, but especially for teenagers, I feel. Things are just a lot more confusing when you're that age and everything feels kind of like the end of the world. So I was playing a lot of video games and watching a lot of YouTube, things I enjoyed to try to distract myself, and I came across this Game Grumps playthrough like I talked about. And surprisingly enough, I felt like really in love with the narrative of Shattered Memories. Despite their constant jokes and making fun of the game, I actually really resonated with the story and the themes that it was presenting. And not just that, I also really liked it as a video game too. Get down, bruh! I loved watching them explore these dark, empty places like the mall and the city, and discovering these depressing moments almost like a detective going through a mindfuck mental asylum. I had never played the original Silent Hills at this point. I'd only ever played 4, so my knowledge of the series is really limited, and I really enjoyed this interpretation of the first Silent Hill story. I always have a soft spot for this storyline, even if the original Silent Hills technically handled this one better, because I think this is really the first good depiction of grief I had ever seen in a video game before, and it definitely helped my confused, scared 13-year-old ass out a lot. And that's how you know y'all motherfucking serious, alright? I like a video game that I've never even played before. I've only seen other people play it, and it's still one of my favorites of the franchise. So I guess I'll end this by saying, thank you, Game Grumps, for helping me find this. Thank you for watching my video. And thank you, Shattered Memories, for helping young me learn that, like, you know, grieving and feeling stuck in your sadness is kind of okay sometimes, as long as you're willing to come out the other end a better person because of it.